Welcome, everybody, to Respawn Please, the weekly video game podcast where two dum-dums come together to talk all things video games. And with me, as always... Wait, I haven't introduced myself. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. With me, as always, is Ell, and I'm Jesus. Ell, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great. You know, I'm nice. feeling not dead. Earlier
That's
today,
always good.
I woke up this morning at like 8 o'clock, and I felt very nauseous and gross, and like I had a lot of like sinus pressure on my face. So I took NyQuil. I took NyQuil at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And then slept until like 2 o'clock. Which was probably not a good idea because now, like, I've like, ever since then, I've been like really groggy. I've had a headache too. And it's like, ugh, I just feel gross. Dang. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just like powered through it, you know, and accepted it. But it is what it is. I tried to. Yeah. And I'm currently half dark right now. So for video watchers, apologies that half my face is in the dark. It is what it is. There's a reason for it. It'll work out in the future. Man. I just had a thought and was like, you know what? From now on, I'm going to introduce you first. And when I go, hey, Ell, how's it going? You go, oh, I'm doing great. And with me is Jesus. Jesus, how are you doing? We just pass it back and forth.
Just go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ell. I'm doing greit. Ell, how are you?
Doing great.
The whole podcast.
That's hilarious.
We do that for an hour. Do you think people will still watch and listen?
People will be like, turn it off. Is this
Why
broken?
are they just greeting each other? What is going on? But we have a lot of news to talk about. Well, we have a lot of reviews to talk about because a lot of stuff is dropping. We have PSVR2 reviews dropping. PSVR2 comes out next week. But on top of that, we also have Horizon Call of the Mountain, which is like the premier launch title for the PSVR2 review stuff. So Horizon Call of the Mountain's coming out. We also have Like a Dragon Ishin coming out next week. And we also have Octopath Traveler coming out next week. And then next week, we also have Atomic Heart coming out, but there's no reviews for Atomic Heart yet. But next week is jam-packed, dude. Like, there's so much coming out next week at the end of February.
So many games.
It is wild. Are we going to play some of them? Well, I can guarantee you we're not going to be playing any of the VR games that are going to be coming out. Unless you got a PSVR 2 and didn't tell me.
No.
But I'm planning on. I've pre-ordered Like a Dragon. I don't know why I pre-ordered it. I think there's like bonuses or something like that on PlayStation. Anyways, I have it on PlayStation. I'm going to play it next week. I'm looking forward to playing Atomic Heart as well.
Yeah.
And then you've been playing the demo for Octopath Traveler 2, right? So
yeah, and then Sea of Stars. So
yeah, and Sea of Stars. Yeah. Oh man, so much stuff. But anyways, we're going to get into all that here in a little bit. But what you been playing this week, Ell? If anything at all.
Yeah, so like you were saying, I got the demo for Octo Traveler 2. I'm about to dive into that. I've been playing the Sea of Stars demo, which is great. I love the art style of it, the animation, everything in there. It's pretty fun. So, you know, it's like a turn-based RPG, and I'm just going through it. I'm like leaning towards buying it. So when it does come out, I'm like, this is actually pretty fun. I've been playing Vampire Survivors. That's been amazing. I love that game so much because it's so easy to just get into and just hop out. And it's addicting to get like the power ups and just bring this, like create this super like, powered, like, hero that you have. And then, Vampire Survivors, Overwatch 2, of course, some, Slay the Spire. And then I told you this before we started recording, but I'm going to get into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game. I forgot what it's called. All-Star Battle or something. And so I'm going to try it out just because I watched the show and I thought it'd be cool and it has a story mode. So, hey, we'll see how it is.
You know, I'm not going to judge you for playing that, but I am going to judge you for playing that because you're an idiot. No, I'm kidding.
Hilarious.
Man, I need you to tell me about your Slay the Spire experience. I'm always interested. I'm always curious. Where are you at now in it? Because I think last time we talked, you said you had yet to discover the secret ending.
Yeah.
Or the secondary endings.
Exactly.
You've gotten to the heart. You've gotten to the heart. Have you gotten beyond the heart?
Have not got beyond the heart, funny enough, because so here's the thing. I have Slay the Spire on this PC and then as well as my Nintendo Switch. I have it on both. So I'll play on both. If I don't feel like being at the PC, I'll just take the Switch, go upstairs and just play on there. And so on the Switch, I think I've gotten to the heart maybe 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And it just tells me the same thing, you know, oh, you feel like you've been here before. You've only done this amount of damage and other players have done this amount of damage. and it's like always the same. It's not enough. Yeah. And then on the PC, I think I've only gotten to the heart once because for some reason it feels like the PC version is more difficult than the Switch version.
Really?
Yeah. For me anyway, like I get more luck on my Switch than I do on the PC version. And so I'm not too sure why, but
okay.
Yeah, the enemies and the bosses at the end of each act on the PC version just sometimes feel impossible for some reason. I'm just not getting the luck of the draw sometimes.
You don't have the heart of the cards, man. You gotta.
Yeah, I know. I'm not Yami Yugi.
You gotta be Yugi for a second. You gotta go. I need the heart of the cards.
Exactly.
Yugi. This is not Yugi. Oh man. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, I don't know. I mean, I want to say I feel that way too. Like playing the PlayStation version versus the PC version. I have it on PlayStation and then on PC. Also have it on Xbox, but I don't touch it on Xbox anymore. Like I have pretty much all the trophies on the PlayStation. The only one I'm missing right now on PlayStation, I think, is the defect. Get the secret ending with the defect. Get the true ending with the defect. Because each character has each of the characters besides the monk. Is that the fourth one? The fourth character, purple person. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
It's like get the true ending or secret ending, whatever the hell they call it, with each character, and the defect is the one that I'm having the most issue with right now because I just can't figure out. Do I do a lightning build? Do I do a darkness build? I don't know, like what kind of build I should do, and like surfing the internet is not helping me because like any builds that I look up, it's like they're not working for me. And then it's also too reliant on trying to like make sure you get the right cards at the right time. And And so it can be difficult, but yeah, like I pretty much I'm like trying to get the platinum for Slay the Spire. It's just, I've probably sunk in almost 200 hours into it on PlayStation at this point, trying to get that platinum. And just the defect is being elusive for me. But over on PC, I don't think I've actually got any of the endings. I've been slowly making my way through with Ironclad on Steam. Playing that. I have switched over to defect to see if I can't figure out a strategy for a defect that could take over the PlayStation. But yeah, anyways, I love Slay the Spire. It's always fun. Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing that too this week. So
it's funny you say that because when I first started playing it, I started to follow a subreddit that was specifically for Slay the Spire, and people were talking about builds, and I would look up their builds and I'd be like, okay, especially when I was doing, because I love the Ironclad class just because it's like you can be brute force and just go in there and just like demolish people. And then I also love the I don't know what the second class is, the one with the poison silent class. I love that class too because it almost seems like you're just kind of like subtly, sneakily just killing your enemies, which I like. And so, but yeah, it's fun. It's very fun and addicting. So
yeah, the green, the poison builds.
Yeah. So, but what else? What have you been playing?
I have been playing Fire Emblem Engage. I this past week. When I say this past week, I got paid on like Tuesday or whatever. When I got paid this past week, I was like, you know what? They have the Nintendo Switch, the online stuff. If you have your online Nintendo Switch, whatever it's called, if you have that, you can get the voucher things that they're doing now, where you can get 2 games for $100 because Nintendo rarely ever discounts their games, so you're usually paying like $60-$70 for their games. And so I got the little voucher for $100. You get 2 games. The voucher allows you to claim 2 games, and so I claimed Fire Emblem Engage. And
nice.
I'm doing it. I dived in. I played the first 2 hours of this game. I'm diving into Xenoblade Chronicles. I've talked about doing this for a while. I've talked about how I wanted to play these games. I'm interested in playing these games. And so I went ahead and got Xenoblade Chronicle, the definitive edition.
Nice.
I'm going to play through that. And then maybe in the future, I'll get the voucher stuff again and then get Xenoblade Chronicle 2 and 3 and all that. But yeah, so I'm about 2 hours into Xenoblade Chronicle. So I've not really a lot of room to judge it because, Xenoblade Chronicle is like a 100-hour game. So 2 hours in a 100-hour game is like nothing. But it seems interesting. It seems fun. I'm interested. I'm excited to play more. The combat seems relatively simple, but I think that might just be because of how early it is right now in the game.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is just kind of like let your character swing type of deal. This is like I'm running around. So I think it's just like I think it's going to get more complicated as I go. There's not a lot to it right now, but I'm hoping it'll elevate as we go. And then Fire Emblem Engage. I just love Fire Emblem. So I finally got Fire Emblem Engage, enjoying the hell of it. It's fun. It is not. It's not very story heavy. The story is kind of meh compared to past Fire Emblem games.
Yeah,
but man, the strategy loop is probably some of the best gameplay loop that it's had in a while.
Gotcha.
So like the actual like moving your pieces around like on essentially a board, you know, because it's a turn-based strategy game. So you're moving your pieces around and then having them fight each other and stuff. And like the tactical side of things is really fun, but the story, it's whatever. So nice. I'm hoping the story gets better for me, but right now I'm just kind of like indifferent towards it. It is no Fire Emblem Awakening, that's for sure, which is my favorite. Fire Emblem Awakening is my favorite Fire Emblem game. I think that's probably for a lot of people their favorite Fire Emblem game too, or Path of Radiance on the GameCube. So
nice,
right? Was it Path of Radiance on the GameCube? Yeah, I think so. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Chat or comment section, whatever. And then I've also been playing Marvel Snap. You know,
back into that Marvel Snap.
Back addicted to Marvel Snap. Man, I got so mad last night. Let me tell you.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you. And again, like it's me getting mad for no reason because like I was like, I'm just staring at this fucking game, and I'm in a match, and the game just like freezes on me. Like Lord. The match itself, like the board just freezes, and me and this other person are just spamming. Going, what's going on? What happened? Like, you know, those little messages that you can do. And we're just spamming that to each other. And then all of a sudden the game just ends and I lose. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, I don't understand what happened. Cause like, it just ended. Like there was, it like froze up on turn 4. And then it said I lost. And I was and like for a good like 2-3 minutes, it was me and this person just spamming each other. And I was like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? I was like so close to raging, just like uninstalling it and be like, I'm done with this shit again. I didn't, but like, it was just like a weird thing. Cause I was like, I'm on turn 4. How the hell did I just lose? Like you freaking froze up. The game froze. So I don't know. Maybe it was my end. Maybe it was my end. And then the person was just like, able to play or something. But yeah, I was really confused by this because like I've been having that a lot lately where the game just freezes up on me. And I don't know if that's a consistent problem for other people. I haven't like looked it up or anything, but yeah, it's getting a kind of annoying to the point that I do want to stop playing again. And maybe I will like stop playing for another 2-3 weeks because I don't know.
Interesting.
What's your Marvel Snap history? Are you still playing it or are you done with it?
No, I kind of just got away from it. I actually thought about getting back into Marvel Puzzle Quest, but
okay.
Because I really love Marvel Puzzle Quest. But Marvel Snap, I was in it for a while, but I just kind of lost interest after playing through for a little bit. The last time I played was I can't remember which came before or after. It was either the Black Panther when the movie was coming out too, or Silver Surfer whenever that happened. I can't remember which was the latest one, but
Silver Surfer happened in December.
Okay, so then it was probably Black Panther, I think, or
okay, yeah. And so Black Panther was November because the
never mind. Forever. It was Silver Surfer then. Silver Surfer. That's when I stopped. I played a little bit during that whole run, and then I was just like, I was like, I'd rather go play something else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Silver Surfer was December for some reason, and then they did Savage Lands in January, and this month it's Ant-Man because of Ant-Man Quantumanium.
Yeah.
They've added PvP though, so we could play against each other.
That's interesting.
Like direct, it's only direct PvP, and it's only with people that you know. You have to like, so like when you create a match, they generate a code, and you have to give that code to whoever you want to play against. So we could play against each other if you ever wanted to and stuff, and like learn strategies and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's what I've been playing this week. It's, you know, so riveting, so fun. Everybody go play Fire Emblem Engage, and then somebody tell me how to play Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles with a guide. You know, I have a GameFAQs guide open when I'm playing to make sure I pick up everything. Because it's a Japanese RPG, and like it's easy to miss shit in Japanese RPGs, like treasure chest and stuff like that. It's just so easy. So like anytime I play a JRPG, I usually have a guide open, not to like, you know what happens or anything, but just so I don't miss things. Like, I don't want to like overlook like a chest or something, or go do this quest line to get this super powerful item. You know, like that sort of thing. It's like, because otherwise I won't know to go for it. Like, when I started playing, because on my personal streams back in December, I started playing Final Fantasy 10.
Yeah.
And somebody, like, bless their heart, they came into they were watching my stream and stuff. They were like, oh yeah, you need to do, if you want to get like one of the best weapons for what's his name, the
Waka Titus.
Yeah, Waka. If you want to get the best weapon for Waka, you have to do all of the blitzball stuff. And I was like, are you fucking serious? They're like, yeah, it's so much fun. I was like, no, I hate blitzball. I'm not doing that. I would have, and like the thing is, I would have never known that was a thing if that person had said it, because like I'm not gonna touch blitzball at all. I don't even like. I have not played. I haven't played Final Fantasy X since then. Probably won't ever go back to it.
Hilarious.
But when they told me, that's part of the reason why I was like, you know what? I don't even want to play this anymore. I don't give a shit about blitzball. I hated the little thing I was forced to play of it. Yeah. So anyways, but with Japanese RPGs, I have to have a guide. I've realized to know what the hell I'm doing, like, so I don't miss important things, specific items and stuff. But that is life. Do you still use guides? Do you like use guides in like any significant fashion?
It's interesting. Most of the time what I'll do with like single player games like a Final Fantasy X or like a God of War even, what I'll do is I'll play through the story mode for the most part. And I think either if I get in like a quarter of the way or halfway, what I feel like, I'll go, okay, what can I do? I'll look up side quests and side missions. Because I'm like, well, I want to get more powerful weapons, more powerful armor, more powerful whatever. And then if I'm at a point to where I can get those things, then I'll go out of my way to do that because I want to be able to, just be beefed up or souped up and fight whatever bosses I can with ease. And so if it makes my life easier for like on a difficult mode, I'll be like, let me go get that. Because I remember when Final Fantasy X came out, I literally bought the game and a walkthrough guide. When they used to sell the guides like in the magazine style, and I bought a walkthrough guide that told you every single thing about the characters, their weaknesses, the enemies, like where to get the special weapons, and it was like the Bible for it. And I was just like, okay, cool, and I'll just go through it and play it and just do all that. So,
yeah, I'm glad you brought the little magazine style things. It might be, it's either in a box or on my shelf across the room, but I still have the walkthrough guide for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Wow.
It's like this thick, and it has like all the quest lines. It has like maps for every area of the game and stuff. And like it tells you where all the hidden weapons are, everything. And like it was one of those what is it called? Was it Prima guides or Prima guides? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, like you go to like, you could go, they were like always next to you walk into Best Buy, they were always next to the video game section. And I remember my dad, he bought Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for me, and then bought the guide for me and brought it home. And this was, back in like 2004 or whatever. It was like, here you go. And I remember like sitting there, I would take it to school with me, like look at it and be funny. Like, okay, when I get home, I'm going to do this quest line. Okay, this is how I do it. I remember doing that. And I also did that for Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I also have like the guide somewhere for Oblivion.
Wow.
So yeah, I remember those
times
guides.
have changed.
I think those are the only two guides I ever got, like actually paid money for. Cause like, you can just go online now for guides. You don't have to, unless you just like want the little.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got like the physical collector thing, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good times. Simple times back then. We should go back to 2004.
I know we should.
But if we go back to 2004, L, there's no way we could ever play VR. But before we get into VR, we do have to address the elephant in the room.
Oh yeah.
We made a mistake last week.
Oof.
Some of it's my fault. Some of it's El's fault.
I'll take.
I don't know why I just pointed like off to the side, like,
and I'm over here
to the wrong direction. This guy over here. But we have an elephant in the room that we must address. Last week, I ended the podcast before we created our Nintendo Super Team.
Yep.
And then we advertised the actual podcast as if there was a Nintendo Super Team, and there seems to be people upset about it, mainly me. So we just want to say we're sorry. We're gonna make a Nintendo Super Team soon, right, El?
Yes.
Tell them.
It'll be happening very soon. It's just, today this episode is jam packed with reviews and just things that we want to talk about. So possibly on the next episode, we'll get it to you and we'll create a Nintendo Super team, because I'm pretty sure, people who listen or they watch the podcast are like, who would you put on this team? Well,
who could you? Like, there's so many good options,
Exactly. So many good options.
Do you put Kirby? Do you put Meta Knight? Do you put the
Donkey
mushroom,
Kong.
The mushroom dude? What is Toad? There we go.
Toad.
Couldn't remember what his name was for a second.
Do you put Yoshi? Do you put
Yoshi? Yeah, like
it's so many different things.
Do you put Boo? Like, oh my god,
whoa,
man,
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, do you put Pokemon? I think in my note that I said we will never put
excluding Pokemon.
Yeah. Because that seems like there's like god level Pokemon or whatever. Anyways, not important.
Yes.
So we will get the Nintendo Super Team soon, hopefully, next week, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what this week is going to be like. Cause next week, who knows? Maybe the deal with Activision Blizzard, Microsoft will finally go through. Whoa. Or it's going to get shut down. That is something we're going to have to talk about. That
very
takes
true.
precedent, but anyways, moving on from our apology for this Nintendo Super Team. Again, we'll get it to you soon. Let's focus in on PSVR2. PSVR2 reviews are dropping specifically for the hardware. And I pulled 2 reviews, one from IGN and one from GameSpot. So let's dive into PSVR2 reviews. Over on IGN, Gabriel Moss gave it a 9 out of 10, saying, the PlayStation VR2 may seem pricey given that it costs $150 more than the base PS5 digital edition console.
Wow.
You'll need to use it. Even so, it's such a quantum leap over the original PSVR in terms of ease of use, visual quality, and immersion that any PlayStation owner who loves VR should upgrade as soon as possible. Its 4K HDR OLED screen and excellently tactile sense controllers are the most obvious improvements, but plentiful quality of life changes and the raw horsepower of the PS5 set a new standard for how VR games should play and feel on console. The downside is that, like any new platform, its thin launch lineup makes it lack of backward compatibility with original PSVR games a significant problem, but one that will only improve as Sony and other developers roll out new games that take advantage of the PSVR2's unique features. So just going off of this for a second, that is one of the reasons why I ended up canceling my PSVR 2 pre-order, because I mentioned that months ago, like when they opened the pre-orders, I was like, I jumped on it. But then as they started revealing the launch lineup, I was like, oof. Am I really about to pay $550 just for Call of the Mountain, Horizon Call of the Mountain? Ain't no way I'm doing that. So that was the launch lineup is just not good. A lot of it, there's only a handful of new VR titles for the launch lineup, and then the majority of them all games that you can already play on other systems. And so I was just like, I don't know, doesn't seem worth it. Plus the price, $550.
That's a lot of money.
That's again, that's more than the PS5 digital edition, the version that I have. And I'm like, oh my God, do I really want to invest in that right now? So that's the big issue for me right now. But I am interested in I do like the idea of the visual quality is improved. The immersion feels better. The HDR OLED screen is supposed to look amazing. That seems to be the common factor. A common factor across all these reviews have been that the hardware is amazing. The actual headset feels great. It looks great. It feels great. It just lacks games. Over on GameSpot, PlayStation, on GameSpot, they did not give it a rated score, but Tamor Hussein did have a lot to say about it. I pulled two quotes from it to sort of highlight the more specific issues that PSVR2 kind of has to overcome. And I think Tamor Hussein brings up a lot of good points in his review of the PSVR2 over on GameSpot. So here we go. The hurdle PlayStation and PSVR2 need to overcome if the platform is to have a fruitful future is ensuring that there is support for it. And not only that, but give people a compelling case to buy or use it by offering exclusive and unique experiences. As it stands, Horizon Call of the Mountain is carrying the PSVR2 on its back. The lineup of games that support it will grow, and there are a few games that I'm eager to play, Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 4 remakes, VR content chief among them. Still, I can't recommend spending the cost of an entire gaming console for them, especially not at launch. So that kind of goes back to the lack of games. There's not a huge support. And if you're not into Resident Evil, even though Resident Evil's on the horizon, if you're not into those games, then, you may not want to play it. So it goes back to the lack of games. Tamor Hussein goes on to say, what Sony has created is a VR headset that can exist in the space between the affordable but underpowered Quest 2 and the expensive but powerful Index. For those who don't know, the Index is like $1,000. Wow. So it's a very expensive. Back to Tamor Hussein's quote, but much of what it offers can be found on cheaper devices like the Quest 2, which has the added benefit of being standalone and wireless. For enthusiasts and people willing to push through motion sickness like me, it's very impressive hardware that needs more software to actually impress them. I hope that Sony and its partners start thinking outside of the box a bit more when it comes to games and commit to supporting the platform long-term in a meaningful way. The excellent hardware deserves as much. If they do, the future of PSVR2 will be exciting, but for now, the excitement is built on the same thing VR has always enticed hopefuls with: potential. And I think that's where the issue is right now. And this is also speaking for somebody that has the PlayStation VR 1, the first PlayStation VR right here, is that Sony kind of just stopped supporting it in terms of like game releases and stuff. There was occasionally games for it and stuff that were interesting, but like for the most part, Sony kind of just left it out to the wild. And then we occasionally got games for it that were worth playing. Obviously, Astrobot was the reason why you got that was for Astrobot. Astrobot was one of the best platformers ever, one of the best VR experiences I ever had. I mean, in my limited capacity, because PSVR is the only one that I've had full time with. And I do want to get PSVR 2, but like I'm also hesitant on if Sony will support it long term. Because there was potential with PSVR 1, and there's obviously PSVR 2 is going to have potential. So do you think this is going to be something that Sony will support long term, or do you think it's going to kind of like flop? Like, so because like leading up to this, like I don't even think PlayStation hasn't really been pushing hard with this like these last few months, which is odd. They occasionally like make a blog post about it, but like we didn't get like a let's sit down direct, like a Nintendo Direct, Sony PlayStation State of Play, where they just go, okay, this is everything we're gonna get. It was like it came up in like small portions of State of Plays, you know what I mean, over the last few months. It wasn't a big focus, and it's like where is this going? Why are you not pushing this? Like, are you just sitting this out to die, sort of like the Vita? Because the Vita flopped, and it's like Vita was ahead of its time, right? Like, very ahead of its time. Vita was actually a good handheld console, but yeah. What are your thoughts?
My thought definitely it is a little worrisome that their lineup of games just isn't like there. They don't have a lot. Like you said, if you're not into Resident Evil, the series, whether it be Village or Resident Evil 4 or Horizon, Forbidden Dawn, then it's like, well, what is there to really do with this, And just like in the review for that Tamar Hussein said, if you to spend that amount of money, you have to be compelled to be like, okay, I'm going for what I'm paying. I'm going to get my value in return for what I get to play. I'm hoping that maybe Sony just doesn't have their focus in it, and maybe they have games on the way or that they're trying to send to VR that'll make it worth it. Because that's definitely to be able to spend that amount of money on that. Like you said, it's more than the PlayStation 5 digital version. It's like
it's more than both versions, like this version too. So.
Yeah, if it's more than both, it's like, man, it in a way it almost seems like it's like, well, this is its own console, but yet you still need the console to play it. Yeah, it's. I hope that they just like support it more, bring more better games to it that'll want people to play it. But as of right now, it's just like a big letdown. Even though like the hardware looks amazing, people are saying that it's amazing. Like you said, it's an improvement from 2, but until they bring in more games, until they make it more compelling, what I hope doesn't happen is that they kind of look at how much they sell from this by itself and they don't realize that the reason why people might not want to buy it is because there's not a lot of games to play with it. Hopefully they don't go, you know what, just let's not even worry about it anymore. Just leave it to die. That's what I'm hoping. But
that's what you're hoping they do?
No, sorry. That's what I'm hoping that they don't do. Sorry. But, and I'm hoping that they're like, okay, we get that that's going to happen, but we have games in the works that will be strictly for VR that will, hopefully make it compelling for others to buy it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just confusing because it's almost like if they were to do this and it does fail, it almost feels like they just set it up to fail,
Yeah.
And that's not what we want. People want to play great games on there. That's why people will buy the PS5 or they'll buy the Xbox, or they're gonna buy those systems because there are games on there that they want to play. Like God of War is on PlayStation. If people wanted to play Halo, it's on Xbox. Like you go to those and you buy those systems or PC for Xbox. If if the game is good enough, people will come and buy the system to play it.
Yeah, and that's the thing right now. They don't really have a system seller like on the PlayStation VR2. I mean, you could argue that Horizon Call of the Mountain is that, and we'll talk about that here in a second because we're going to go over the reviews for Horizon Call of the Mountain. But like the PSVR1, the big selling point was Astrobot, which was an amazing experience. And I'm gonna segue into Horizon Call of the Mountain now. But Horizon Call of the Mountain doesn't seem to be on that same level that Astrobot Rescue Mission was. So let's get into the Horizon Call of the Mountain reviews. Currently, it has an 82 out of 100 on OpenCritic. And I pulled reviews from IGN and GameSpot since those were the ones I used for the breakdown for the PSVR2. So over on GameSpot, Timur Hussein gave it a 7 out of 10. The ongoing refrain of familiar done well is the defining quality of Call of the Mountain. There's nothing revolutionary in the game that moves VR gaming forward, and it doesn't do anything unexpected. So it ends up being exactly what it looks like, a well-made Horizon game in VR that has good climbing and shooting, as well as pretty environments to look at. As a showcase of what can be done with PSVR2, it more than handily serves its purpose. So right there, like that doesn't like enthrall me to go, oh man, this is going to be awesome. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, I'm just like, okay, so it doesn't really do anything special in the VR space. And that's like the big like thing for me right now is like, that's why I was like, you know what, I'm going to cancel my thing. Cause like, even like, I'm not a big fan of Horizon to begin with. I enjoy the games, but like, like even just seeing these reviews, like, it's like, oh man, I'm glad I canceled my pre-order because this is disappointing to me. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Over on IGN, Simon Cardy gave it a 7 out of 10 as well, saying Horizon Call of the Mountain's exciting highs elevated just enough above its often monotonous climbing mechanics to create a fun first blockbuster scale entry into the PSVR2 library. Through intuitive design, awesome spectacle, and gripping combat, Horizon's first step into virtual reality is one packed with exciting encounters that its slower stretches may sometimes detract from, but never threaten to derail completely. It's an enjoyable, if not essential, chapter of the Horizon story. So it's a little bit higher than what Timur Hussein was saying, even though they both gave it the same score. But yeah, like, do these reviews, these two specific reviews, make you go, oh man, I need to go play Call of the Mountain on PSVR2 right now. I got to go spend $550 plus $70 or $60, how much Horizon Call of the Mountain is. Because that you're looking at $700 right there, pretty much, just to play one game.
That's crazy.
Does that enthrall you to go do that?
No, not at all. It's like, man, what this reminds me of this, even though this is a second iteration of PSVR, it kind of reminds me of like whenever there's new technology, like for example, like when the iPod, for those who remember the iPod when it first came out, was very expensive, but it only held maybe like what? 30 to 100 songs or something like that.
It's like 50 songs.
50 songs. And at the time, you know, of course, because that was a new technology, everybody was like, oh my gosh, 50 songs? That's crazy. But it was so expensive. It's like, you know, the value of it, it's like, it wasn't really worth it. But as time goes on, the technology became cheaper and more affordable, and you could hold even more. And, you know, maybe it makes me think that maybe with PSVR 2, it's very expensive, but as time goes on, maybe with more games that come out and maybe the cost of creating this technology will just get cheaper and cheaper. And I think that more people will be able to get in and buy it and that are able to afford it. Cause that's a lot of money just to spend on the VR by itself, not including the game or the PS5 system. It's like, it's crazy to think about, but sorry, to answer your question, no, this game does not, the reviews does not make me want to go like, I need to buy a PSVR 2, you know? And so, it just doesn't, it's not a home run. I'm not like, it'd be different if it was like, this is amazing. You have to experience this, you know, but no.
Yeah, and to sort of pull comparisons to, I keep bringing back Astrobot Rescue Mission, which was again it was a launch title and it was the showcase of what PSVR could do. Over on OpenCritic, it has an 89 out of 100. IGN gave it a 9. Destructoid gave it a 7.5. But it for the most part, it was in the 9 range, 9 to 10 range, and a lot of it is just like, this is the perfect example of what PSVR can do. And it pushed the reason why you should buy a PlayStation VR. And I honestly, like, based off of like the reviews for Horizon Call of the Mountain, even though they say like, oh yeah, it showcases what the PSVR 2 can do, but it's not that great. It's like, that's not comforting to me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like I do have high hopes. I'm like with Timur Hussein over on GameSpot saying that VR has potential. VR always has potential. I think it's an incredible experience to have. I loved my PlayStation VR. I loved playing in it. I loved escaping into it. I played all the way through Skyrim. I played Skyrim VR because I love Skyrim and I enjoyed the experience. I was like, this is the only way I want to play a Skyrim game again. Like, I only want to play Skyrim in VR again because I'm weird. But my PSVR 2 or my PSVR, I can no longer use because my cat chewed up the cable. So, and I'm not buying all the different parts for the PlayStation VR because there's too many cables. Thankfully with PSVR 2, there's only one cable now. Thank God. Because that's like, that right there just makes me go, okay, PSVR 2 is worth getting. Anyways, but yeah, like there's potential in VR space. And I think Sony does need to support it long term, not just throw it out here and then a year from now go, okay, we're done. None of our first party studios are going to make anything for it now. We don't care if third parties make games for it now. It's out there. Have fun. I think they do need to they should they need to make a compelling reason to buy it. Because I think if you can make a compelling reason to buy it, you will get an audience and you will have people make that investment. Of $550 US dollars, I should say. We're here in the US. So like you will get, if you can make compelling reasons beyond just Call of the Mountain, maybe what would a God of War VR experience look like? Even if you're not playing as Kratos, but you're like playing as Atreus or any of the many like side characters that you meet in God of War. What if you played like as one of them or something? Just get a different perspective of this universe. Like, what if you do an Uncharted? Going through Uncharted, like pull in your heavy hitters. Spider-Man, that would probably be the worst experience ever. Flipping around and swinging. I'd probably be terrified as all hell. Because I can tell you right now, playing Astrobot, when I look down and stuff, I would get like that vertigo. But like, I'm sure people out there would absolutely love to like swing around New York as Spider-Man and VR. Like, so like you have a catalog of games that you can pull from. And so hopefully Sony does do that, where they will pull from their catalog. God of War, Ratchet and Clank, that would be freaking awesome. Like there's so many games you could pull from. Last of Us, what you play it, whatever. But like you could do Last of Us. Like there's just so much potential there, and hopefully over the years Sony will do that and not just kind of abandon it like they did the Vita. Like that, I think that's like the big thing, is that Vita was ahead of its time and they still abandoned it because it wasn't adopting as quickly as like the 3DS and stuff.
Exactly.
Which is a shame, because the Vita was arguably more powerful than the 3DS. Is just Nintendo's Nintendo and has a stranglehold on things. So at the time they had a stranglehold on the mobile, handheld console stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like again, I'm anxious to see what Sony is going to do long term more than short term. You know what I mean? So
exactly, yeah.
Like they can make all these promises. They can go, look at what we have coming out over the next 6 months. But if you're not releasing anything beyond that 6 months, then why should anybody invest in the system? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, and then there's a lot of people going, why don't you have, this is a topic of conversation I've been seeing a lot. Why don't you have Half-Life Alyx? And it's like,
yeah,
why don't you have Half-Life Alyx? I'm sure there's a lot more complicated reasons, because like Valve may not want to put, because Half-Life Alyx was specifically created for the Index and like it's and all that, and so maybe Valve doesn't want to release it on the PlayStation VR to have competition in the VR space or something. But still, like it would be interesting if we, like, the audience at least knows like Sony tried to get it. You know what I mean? To show that Sony is interested in bolstering their catalog for their VR. So I just went on a rant. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. It all makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
So, but with all that said, I am anxious to see like what's going to happen over the next year or two with PSVR. What more games can come? Will we see a God of War? If you saw, so let's just throw that out there, Al.
Mm-hmm.
A God of War VR game is made. What do you want to see out of it?
I want to either play as like, just be in that world. It'd even be cool to play as, like you said, as Atreus, and just kind of like mess with the archery that it does. Even if it's like Kratos or just someone in that world, like you said, it'd be cool to see just different perspectives and give people a chance to kind of just be engulfed in that world.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you could definitely do something like with Atreus, where maybe you just kind of, like I said, play a couple side missions or something like that, to where you just get back into that world,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah. I small things, like it wouldn't even need to be like a huge, like, 20 hour, 40 hour, however long God of War is. I can't remember. But like, even if it's just like a short 8-hour journey or something, or a 4-hour journey, something just like to whet your appetite, to give you more reasons to invest. Like that, I think that's the big thing for me, is reasons to invest. And I just don't see it right now.
Definitely.
So moving on to some more reviews. Like a Dragon Ishin reviews are coming out. And for everybody who doesn't know, I'm a huge fan of Yakuza, Like a Dragon, that whole franchise. I love it. And so I'm excited about Ishin. It currently has an 82 out of 100 on OpenCritic. Over on IGN, Tristan Ogilvie gave it a... Shoot, I didn't write down the review score. Tristan the words are hard. Ogilvie gave it a 7 out of 10, saying, while its half-baked gunplay probably should have remained holstered, Like a Dragon Ishin, Like a Dragon's stylish sword fighting and over-the-top trooper card attacks successfully pair the Yakuza series brand of hysterical action with historical fiction of 19th century Japan setting. Unfortunately, it's a step back in time, to also presents a slight step down in quality for its sub-stories and side activities, which have each been eclipsed in entertainment value by the other Yakuza and Judgment games in the years since Ishin's original Japanese release, and the blander areas of its low-tech environment can't quite compete with the flashy charms of, I'm going to mispronounce this horribly, Kamurocho when it comes to exploration. Hopefully I said that right. Even so, its high-stakes story had me hooked throughout, and it was fascinating to get an insight into a period of Japanese history I knew very little about previously, albeit through a heavily fictionalized lens. No matter which way you slice it, Like a Dragon Ishin is an enjoyable and interesting spin-off from the Yakuza series, but not an essential one. Over on GameSpot, Michael Hyam gave it an 8 out of 10. Saying, Like a Dragon Ishin is a fascinating part of the RGG studio catalog, creatively blending the characters and drama we know and love across the Yakuza lore with a period piece set during a turbulent time in Japanese history. By virtue of its brand of storytelling, Ishin foregoes some of the tropes that have glorified samurai, but rides that line ever so closely. If the series is one thing, it's consistent, because despite the shift to Edo-era Japan, there's an unmistakable can't say the word. Can you say it for me?
Familiarity.
Yeah, we both said it wrong. The days of asking doesn't matter now. The days of asking Sega to bring Ishin to the West are thankfully over. And although the revision uses an older foundation that shows its age, it's nice to finally have a version of the game that has been tidied up for modern platforms. Like a Dragon Ishin brings an all-star cast back together for a story that's bigger than any one character and makes for a fine addition to the series' deep history. So this is just something I'm excited about. I like a Dragon. I like the Yakuza games. This is falling fairly where I was expecting to. I was expecting to fall into an 8. This was a remaster of a 2015 game that only, as there were those reviews mentioned that I just quoted from, only released in Japan. It didn't make its way out west until Ishin. And so there is like as the review from Michael Heim on GameSpot pointed out, that it still feels like it is definitely grounded in some of the older Yakuza tropes, instead of taking on the more advanced ones that have come out recently, like a Dragon, like Yakuza Like a Dragon and all that. So it makes sense. Are you excited? Are you interested in still playing Like a Dragon Ishin based off reviews and stuff?
Definitely. It seems like a very fun game. Like the whole Yakuza series, from what I've seen and watched other people play, it's just like you said, it's funny, has humor. It's like grounded, but it's like available to unground itself, if that makes sense. It's just like the tropes that they do, and it's cool. It seems cool from like the trailer that we've seen, and then just watching, like I said, other people play other Yakuza games. It's like, okay, cool. You have a story, but there's ridiculous side missions that you can do and just like ridiculous things. And I'm all for that when it's like a game can be serious, but then also not take itself seriously. Mm-hmm. And so definitely this has me excited to play it.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm excited to play it too. Like it is, like I said, I pre-ordered it. I've pre-ordered it. I'll play it probably eventually. I say I will probably eventually play it because I say that about every single Yakuza game. I have yet to complete a single one of them, and I still say I'm a fan of the franchise because I do like them. You know what I mean? Like, it is one of those games that like I enjoy every time I do play one. Like, even if I'm only playing it for like a couple hours, I still enjoy that little bit of that I've played, and then I enjoy seeing other people's reactions to it. I enjoy watching people play it. Like, before we started streaming, I was watching Bruce Green over on Twitch play Like a Dragon Ishin. And it looked awesome. I was like, he was having fun. And I was like, yeah, this looks like a Yakuza game. This looks like a Dragon. Like, nice. They have the characters. They have the humor. I think that's one thing too. Like, they have all the freaking stupid mini games. They have, that's the one thing that I've always loved about like the Yakuza Like a Dragon series is that there's these stupid mini games that you can play, like arcade games. They have karaoke stuff that you can do. It's like just stupid, dumb, fun things that you can like distract yourself with. That, when the game is getting serious and you need a break from that seriousness, you can go do something that's stupid and fun and deal with like a ridiculous character side quest and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Ishin next week when it comes out and stuff. Whether I complete it or not, that's another question, but I fully intend to complete it. So
nice. Yeah, I'm going to get to it eventually too, as well, just as I finish up a couple other games. I'm excited for it. This is exactly where I thought it was going to land as far as like the score, and on Metacritic and just what I thought people were going to rate it. It's like just enough to like, if you need a break from, seriousness, but you want a little hint of, comedy or just like not, unseriousness or whatever. Yeah. But I'm excited for it because it looks cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. And you have it on your list on the Fantasy Game Critic, so
yes,
you get a bunch of points. And you know what? Another game you're going to get a lot of points on. I did not include this in the doc, so sorry, El. You're going to have to just riff with me here for a second.
Good.
We are going to dive into Octopath Traveler 2. Reviews are dropping as well. I don't have anything specific pulled up. I just wanted to kind of talk about this. It has currently sitting at an 86 on OpenCritic. I'm going to pull up the IGN review to kind of talk about it real quick. Over on IGN, they gave it a 7 out of 10, which is on the very low end from what I'm seeing everything. They say, once again, I'm smitten by Octopath Travel and its style. But 5 years after the original, it doesn't quite hit as hard. So little has changed about its battles, and this sequel sticks sticks a little too closely to the original systems without expanding on them too much, especially now that the 2D/3D art style is an established look. That's still lovely visual. The still lovely visuals just don't stand out as much anymore. That said, the combat is still quite fun, and figuring out the best course of action to exploit weak points, knock an enemy unconscious, and then unload on them with as much power as you can remains satisfying. I did also find myself more invested in the stories this time around, and the way it comes together in the end is more interesting and cohesive than the first. If you liked Octopath Traveler, or even any of the Bravely Default games, Octopath Traveler 2 is another good old-fashioned 80-hour JRPG. It just feels like one I've played before. Little on the low side. This is actually, oddly enough, this one seems like, I don't know. The verdict seems kind of like all over the place there. But it's getting solid reviews. Again, IGN was kind of on the low side. Over on Game Informer, it got an 8.5. God is a geek. Got a 10 out of 10. So it's getting solid reviews, a wide range from anywhere from 10 to 7 and stuff. This is not surprising to me at all. Like, people loved Octopath Traveler 1. I tried to play it. I tried to get invested in it. Just, it's an investment. Like this review says, it's a good old fashioned 80-hour JRPG. And that's like the biggest barrier of entry to me. Like, I want to play these JRPGs. And this goes back to Yakuza as well. Like, I want to play all these Yakuza games and Like a Dragon games and stuff. But like, it's like 80 to 100 hours. It's like, you have to really grip me for me to stay consistent with that. Like, Persona 5 did it. The Persona series has done it, but I haven't really felt attached in that way beyond Persona. So it's like, it's hard for me to invest in like these big 1 hour, 180 to 100 hour games. But people love the first Octopath Traveler. I am interested in trying it out. You're playing the demo, right? So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. That, playing the demo for it. And so I'm going to see once I finish the demo whether or not I want to continue with it, as the same way that I'm doing with Sea of Stars, which is another one. And so
I will say, like, visually, the game looks beautiful as all hell. The mix of 2D animation, 3D animation, pixel-y art. It looks fantastic, looks amazing, looks beautiful. I wish I had infinite amount of time to be able to invest in these games. And it's like, there's so much coming out over the next week that's already, coming out now. Like, we got Atomic Heart coming out. We have Like a Dragon Ishin coming out. We have Star Wars Survive coming out in April. There's just so much stuff coming out over the next few months. It's like, do I have the time to sit down and play these games? And there's games that I still want to play that I haven't gotten a chance to play that came out last year and stuff. So
exactly.
But yeah, I'm excited. I think we're in a good, like, interesting period of games right now. I'm currently playing. I'm like a chapter away from completing my impossible playthrough of Dead Space. I just got Metroid Prime remastered. Nice. I'm gonna play that. There's just so much to play, and it's just a good time to be a gamer. Whether you're gonna get into the VR space, whether you're gonna play these JRPGs, it's just a really good time to be a gamer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited because I'm gonna get. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the Metroid Prime remastered and just play that as well.
Yeah, it's so much good stuff.
So many games coming out,
and like. Is 2023 going to be like the best year in gaming? I feel like there's this conversation to have every year. Like, because you could argue, like, what, back in 2018 when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, Spider-Man came out, God of War 2018 came out. Oof. You had like all these banger games coming out like in that year, or even in 2016, 2017 when you had Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Horizon not Call of the Mountain, Horizon Zero Dawn. Nobody liked this one, but Mass Effect Andromeda. I loved Mass Effect Andromeda, so screw everybody else. But 2023 is shaping up to be like an amazing year, though, because like even just based off the games that have come out just in the January, February, Dead Space, to some degree, Hogwarts Legacy. We're getting Like a Dragon Ishin. We're getting Octopath Traveler. Later on this year, we're getting Final Fantasy 16. We're getting Diablo. We're getting, we're supposedly getting Starfield. We're going to get Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom, yeah.
We got Metroid Prime remastered. Who would have thought that like in the first 2 months
exactly
of 2023 we would get 2 amazing remasters in the form of Dead Space and Metroid remastered, and one of them was a shadow drop. Like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Like, Hi-Fi Rush,
so crazy.
Hi-Fi Rush, a surprise drop that everybody's talking about. That everyone's always going, yeah, this is probably gonna be on the short list for Game of the Year at the end of the year. It's like we already have a stacked beginning of the year. What is the rest of the year going to look like? Because we kind of have an idea going up to like July based off of like the Game Informer master list of games coming out that we looked at a couple of podcasts ago. So it's like, man, we have a lot to look forward to, and we're spoiled
it feels like
belief.
A stacked year.
Yeah. So could this be the best year in gaming? That's probably something we're gonna have to talk about later on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially at the end of the year, like based on reviews and stuff. Like, because I mean, all these games could come out and totally suck. Like,
yeah.
I doubt Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to come out and suck, but it's entirely possible.
Very
Starfield,
true.
I'm more leaning towards Starfield sucking than Zelda sucking, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah.
All right. So moving on to a combination of things. Tetris is getting a movie.
TV show. Is it a movie or a TV show?
It's a movie. It's a movie. It's a movie. It's streaming on Apple TV though. It's streaming exclusively on Apple TV, and the trailer is something. I don't really have much to say about this. I thought it was interesting. I was going to play it, but I don't have my stuff set up for showing the trailer. But what were your thoughts about the trailer, Elle? What did you think about it?
The first thing that came to mind, I didn't think there would come a day where Tetris would get a movie. That was my first thought, because I was like, I've seen Hollywood make a lot of movies out of nothing, or take like a property and be like, this is just a basic property. It's not really a story here, and they'll be like, we'll make a story out of it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I always forget with Tetris the story behind it, which it goes into the trailer a little bit.
Yeah.
Of how Tetris became. If anybody isn't familiar with the story of Tetris, you actually might know a little bit more because it's been a while since I heard it. Where it was made by someone who was in Russia. Am I correct?
Yeah, USSR. Yeah, Soviet Russia at the time.
Soviet Russia. And they, if you can go a little bit more into it, I think, weren't they trying to get out of Russia?
They were trying to. They were trying to essentially get it beyond just the Russian borders. Like it was slowly leaking to the rest of the world, and they were trying to get it to be more like mainstream and stuff.
Exactly.
So
that's right. And so there's like a crazy story behind there as far as to like this person trying to just get it out there so that way more people can play it instead of it just being there. And of course, at the time that this was going on, there was a lot of conflict between the USSR, the US, space race going on, and a bunch of different things just happening. And so like we said before the podcast, there's a lot of espionage, and just like when you think of Tetris, you don't think of espionage a lot, but this is kind of like it seems like in a way this story is like Tetris is in the foreground, and then behind everything is actually like, there's actually a crazy story about this.
Yeah, the wild story of how the rest of the world got to experience Tetris and how it became a mainstream video game thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the history for it is wild, and like what baffles me too is like this movie's rated R. Like, so
exactly
how intense is it gonna
rated
get?
R?
Yeah, Tetris is rated R, man. So
exactly.
I'm very interested in watching this. It's streaming exclusively on Apple TV, so that's kind of a barrier. But lucky for me, Ted Lasso starts back up next month. So
nice.
Ted Lasso and this in the month of March. Oh, I'm gonna be eating good in March.
A lot of great things. Exactly. A lot of great things coming to the service.
I was fascinated. I got excited when I saw this because like the trailer looks freaking fantastic. Like
it does.
It looks like the story sounds absurd because like, again, it was an absurd like story journey of getting Tetris and stuff and seeing it beyond just the Russian borders and stuff. But like, it looks wild. I'm excited to see it. It looks like it's well acted. There's a lot of like hidden gems in there where they like they reveal the Game Boy and they make it like a big dramatic thing. You're like, you're one of 10 people that have seen this. It's like a line in the trailer. It's like, funny. Jesus Christ, this is stupid. They like make a big deal about it. Like they even have the president of Nintendo show up at the end and stuff.
Oh yeah.
like, yeah, it's just wild. Like, I'm just like,
No,
I'm so
exactly.
interested. It's like this. I think this is gonna, if anything, it'll be fun. And it'll be like a lot of interesting tidbits for people that love games. I think hopefully this movie will just be just a good movie to begin with, like not just for gamers, but just
I have
enjoyable
I have
movie.
a question.
What's up?
Do you think after this movie comes out on Apple TV, you're going to see an uptick in people playing Tetris?
Probably.
People are going to be like, I should go play Tetris.
Listen, I mean, I started playing Tetris again because it's on the freaking the Game Boy on Nintendo Switch, right?
Yeah.
Like that's I was like, Tetris is there. I'm going to play that. I can play Tetris anywhere. I don't have to play it on the Game Boy, but I was like, it's on the Game Boy or on the Switch. I'll play it. Fuck it. Why not?
Exactly.
So yeah, I imagine people will go, oh yeah, man, I really do like Tetris. Tetris is fun. You can play like free versions on the on your phone. So it's
on
like
your phone. Exactly. Oh,
so anyways,
it's going to be interesting.
This leads me to a question for you. Something that we kind of we've talked about in the past, and we're getting a whole lot of these too. Like right now, it's like we're like in a hot button period of time right now where video games are finally successfully making that jump over to television and movies. Yeah, you know, we had Cyberpunk, we had Arcane. Right now, we have Last of Us. To some extent, Uncharted was also, and for Sony, Uncharted was successful. The Uncharted movie was successful, even though it honestly wasn't that good. It was successful enough that Sony was like, yeah, this is great. And so my question to you, Elle, what games do you want to see become movies or TV shows? I have a couple I want to talk about. Yeah, but I'll let you start.
So I want to preface that one of my favorite games is already getting a TV show. We talked about this before, Twisted Metal.
I'm so confused on why that's one of your favorite games of all time, just because I don't know anything about it. But
it hit me at the right time. Like when I first got my PlayStation, Twisted Metal was one of the first games that I got. And so it probably just, stuck with me. But anyway, I digress. Moving on. So I have a list of a couple things that I think make sense because I think the games themselves have great stories that can easily translate to a film or TV show, just kind of like how Last of Us, they're following it to a certain point to kind of appease those who have played the game, but also diverting where they might feel like it'll be more digestible to those who are not familiar with the game. And so with that being said, one of the first things that I thought of was I thought of A Plague Tale. I think that'd be an amazing TV show. That whole series, Plague Tale, the Innocence and Requiem. I think that would be really interesting. I think it would work better as a TV show. It could be a movie, but I feel like kind of with what we've seen with like Game of Thrones or any type of show like that, House of Dragons, or even the Lord of the Rings TV series, I think that would be really cool to be done as a TV show and just done weekly. And you could do one season on Innocence and then another season on Requiem. And I think that'd be amazing. I'll go to another one, which this is actually a different one that I don't think you probably would think that I would have brought this up, but I was randomly looking at just like the game that I have on here. And one game that I think would be great as a TV show, or it could be interesting, is the Stanley Parable.
Oh, wow.
I think that would be an interesting TV show. I don't think it should be a movie, but I think it would be interesting to kind of maybe take the formula of it to where it's kind of like not necessarily the same theme as Black Mirror, but it kind of can divert to different stories or something like that. Maybe I think that'd be interesting.
Would you incorporate the narrator in the TV show?
I think that would be
like the narrator is like the main way you get the story, right? So
exactly. Maybe it could be incorporated where the narrator is kind of like the main character, and maybe the narrator kind of just narrates different people. Okay. In a way or something like that. Instead of, I know Stanley is like the main person that you play as in Stanley Parable, but maybe like to change it up a little bit, the way that they can do is like have different people and it kind of narrates, and maybe they all work in this one corporation and they're all confused as to like what's going on. I think that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. But before I go any further, what about you? Like, what are some things?
So you've been focusing on the show side. I'm gonna bring up two that. One of them technically was already a movie. But I think it deserves another attempt because of how like iconic it is. But Doom, I think Doom has all the recipes for being a good action, turn your brain off action summer blockbuster movie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The one they made back in like 2002, 2003 with The Rock, horrible. God awful. I think there was also a sequel to it, but anyways.
Yeah, nobody talks about the sequel.
I think like Doom itself, like it has the makings of just being a fun, dumb action flick. Like,
yeah,
I would hate to use another wrestler for this, but I would argue that Batista's a better wrestler or a better actor. You could have Batista being the lead actor for a Doom movie and, you know, just having fun with that. And I think Batista would have a lot of fun with that. I think there's, again, just a lot of opportunity for Doom to have my dog doesn't agree. Apparently he's anti-Doom. But like there's a lot of potential for a Doom movie. I think just the 2003, 2004 version just was just not it. And so I think Doom deserves another attempt at it. I think, again, hallmarkings of it, go to Mars, kill some like weird demon alien things, whatever the hell they are. And then kind of following the idea of sci-fi, I think Metroid would also be a good
that'd be great.
movie. Because they're all so like self-contained, just fun, like they're action heavy. It would just be interesting to see how it could be translated to film. Like, you know, technology is so sophisticated now that we could have a live action Metroid game, you know, in the vein of like Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that. You know what I mean? And just seeing what could be done in the right hands with the right director type of deal. But I think Metroid could easily lend itself to being a very focused and fun movie to watch. Whether it could be a mix of like being a blockbuster / kind of drama thing. So
definitely.
I mean, probably leaning more towards the spectacle side of things, but I think there's still enough there in Metroid to make it a very compelling journey to follow Samus through her journey and everything. So
exactly. I think that's cool. Excuse me. One IP I think would be cool. And I think this could either work as a film or TV show, just because the film probably wouldn't be able to get as detailed, but I think TV show would give it more opportunity for that. But like the Red Dead Redemption series, obviously, I think those are really great stories. You could start with John Marston in the first one, or if not, go to I'm blanking out on what's the main character in 2?
You're talking about
Arthur Morgan.
I was about to say Hank Green.
But I think it would be good because I mean we've seen plenty of Western movies, plenty of Western TV shows, and I think John Marston and Arthur Morgan are great characters that I think that people would just like latch onto them, and I think it could be enjoyable whether you want to get more detailed into a TV show or if not a film, because I think they could both work because both have great stories, especially 2 that I enjoyed a lot. 2 could definitely work as a film, but it could work either way, I think. And so I think
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I think that they're both, that series is adaptable to either be a TV show or a film.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think it would be interesting to see if that could be done. Could you imagine a like Quentin Tarantino?
Oh wow, that'd be crazy.
Directed Red Dead Redemption. I know he's already done westerns before, but like taking the IP, I think it would be a good match there. Or even what's his name? The director for Once Upon a Time in Mexico and that whole series.
Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez. I think it'd be an interesting pairing. It would be kind of like out there, I think. Yeah. Just because like Robert Rodriguez is out there. But I think that could also play well with Red Dead Redemption, because Red Dead Redemption has very out there characters. You know what I mean? So
no, definitely.
I think it could work. We'll see. You know, it is what it is. Robert Rodriguez did Spy Kids, right?
Yeah, he did Spy Kids. He did, of course, Mariachi.
Mariachi. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Series, and then what was the one in between? Because it was Mariachi, something in between.
El Mariachi. I don't remember the second one. El Mariachi.
Maybe Mariachi was the middle one. I don't remember.
Was it? I thought it was
a whole series, and I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a whole series on it. Yeah. But no, I could see it definitely going that way. I think that'd be cool. I was gonna say that another one that I think would work better as a film It's like a Fallout series. Just I
Fallout
think
could work. Yeah.
Fallout could work, and you just kind of take whichever iteration or just whatever. Even the concept of it is cool enough, I think, to work. I think that would be cool.
Would you see Fallout Boy thingies everywhere? Pit Boys, whatever they're called?
Yeah.
I have one right
see
here.
A bunch of Pit Boys.
I have one right here. My irradiated one.
Whoa.
Just put him everywhere. He glows in the dark, so if I turned all the lights off, he glows in the dark. Anyways.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so diving into some of mine, I'm going to TV shows, switching up the TV shows here.
Yeah.
I have 3, and you told me one of them's already apparently being talked about, but I think Zelda would be a great TV show. I don't think Zelda, I think there's too much to Zelda, like the whole series as a whole, to condense it down to a movie. Whereas like we talked about this briefly with Mario, like Mario makes sense as a movie.
Yeah.
Because Mario's fairly simple, fairly straightforward, where I feel like Zelda, there's too much complicated shit going on in Zelda to try to explain in a movie. Whereas Mario, it makes sense for Mario because Mario's pretty straightforward. Okay, there's this giant turtle thing that we have to fight to save the princess or save the world or whatever. With Zelda, it's like there's that idea of time, manipulating time. There's just like a lot of lore that goes into the world of Zelda, into into Zelda's story, into Link's story, into Ganondorf's story. Like like just how complicated that whole structure is that I don't think it could be conveyed well enough in a movie. But I think as a TV show, Zelda could really thrive. You could even like explore like the different time periods of the Zelda games and stuff. Cause like, like Ocarina of Time and like Majora's Mask, like, you could have different seasons, like sort of not necessarily following them to a T or anything, but like each season could be like a different like period of time in the vast history of Zelda.
Exactly. I think it's just so cool if they were to do it as a TV show, Majora's Mask, and just see that big moon in the sky that's coming down.
Moon,
yeah.
About to crash down onto the planet. Yeah. And it would be like, because Zelda already feels like an anthology type thing because each game is relatively standalone. There are like hints and stuff across games, like how they connect and stuff, but like each one does feel kind of standalone to one another. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see Zelda just like see it done. Whether or not I think it would fall into the trappings of the Lord of the Rings show or the Wheel of Time show where fan expectations are too much.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the thing that would kill the Zelda TV shows, that fan expectations are too much. I mean, that's going to kill any movie or TV show or anything really
definitely.
Is fan expectations. But yeah, I think if Zelda done right could really hit hard for a lot of people. So
definitely.
Another one that I would love to see is Dishonored. This just goes back to the fact that I fucking love Dishonored. Like, I think
that would be great.
Dishonored as a TV show would work so well. Like, I think the most challenging part would be convincing the audience of the powers of the outsider and like explaining how Corvo got his powers and stuff. But there's like a lot of like Game of Thrones-esque type shit happening where Corvo gets betrayed a lot. And it's like, or like the Empress gets assassinated and stuff. So there's like a lot of political intrigue that you could focus on. And then also have that very personal story where Corvo is just trying to keep, what's her name safe? I can't remember. Emily, keeping the Emily Caldwell safe. Because that's his daughter type thing. And just like he wants to make sure she's safe. And so there's like that Last of Us sort of Joel Ellie relationship, but in the form of Corvo and this superpowered Corvo trying to keep Emily safe and trying to stop these people from destroying the empire that Emily's inheriting and stuff. Like there's just a lot of political intrigue that would be fun to explore that could be done well. And then you could also explore the outsider. Who is the outsider? Where does the outsider powers come from? I think there's also a cool aesthetic to it. The well punk stuff. Just a cool aesthetic that might be difficult to translate to screen. I don't know, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think if anything, if Dishonored was to be a show, I think it would be more of the align with Arcane rather than like with live action. I think it would work really well as a animated series.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could see that.
And then because we were talking about Yakuza, I think the Yakuza lends itself really well to being a TV show.
It does definitely with like the seriousness and the comedy.
Yeah, with the comedy, with the absurd characters that you meet, that like there's so many likable characters in the Yakuza franchise, and there's so many interesting stories you can tell that it would make a great TV show. And then another one, not on the list, but it needs to happen. Overwatch. We already get like the small like story, trailers and stuff that are incredible.
Make like a full animated movie.
Yeah, like a full animated movie. Like they're especially for Overwatch 1. I haven't really seen it too much with Overwatch 2, but like leading up to Overwatch 1, there were some incredible freaking trailers that were like, holy shit, you made me like Bastion's story trailer. Where he has PTSD from the war and stuff. He gets activated, has PTSD, and it's like, God, that story is like freaking heart wrenching. Like, holy shit. So like, if Blizzard like would invest, I think like Blizzard could have easily with Diablo, with Overwatch, with World of Warcraft. Well, they tried to make a Warcraft movie, but it didn't work. But like, if they tried to go the route of Arcane, they could easily have Overwatch be this ginormous freaking animated show or movie or whatever, because I think it would work well as a movie. It would work well as a TV show. So yeah. No, I just want to throw love at Overwatch because I know you love Overwatch.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be cool. Even this last tidbit that I had, which I feel like they are possibly working on a film like Dead Space. Like I think that'd be an amazing movie. Oh yeah,
Dead Space. Because what a director recently said that he wanted to work on it.
John Carpenter.
Yeah. He wanted to work on Carpenter. It, and he made it seem like it was already being in production or something like that. And,
I think he mentioned that it'd be easy to adapt. It's going to take the right director. I don't know. I can't remember because I think he said he was interested in doing it, but I don't know if he had decided to do it. But I think that easily would be a great sci-fi horror film. If it follows the formula of the first one. And so I think that'd even be great. Like, I think it's a great story. So
yeah, I agree. Are there any other big games that you can think of that would lend itself over to movies or TV shows?
One that I thought would be cool, but I think I originally thought it'd be good as a TV show, which it could work, but I think it'd be a little too cheesy. It'd probably work better as a film, like for an action-packed film. I just randomly thought of Sleeping Dogs. I think that'd be cool. Action-packed of like, it makes me think though of like early like Jackie Chan films and things like that. And so
I mean, that's like that was sort of the inspiration for it, right?
Exactly. So I mean, why not bring it back with with Sleeping Dogs or something like that? I think that'd be cool because its story is cohesive. It's like your normal run of the mill, like, someone's going undercover and to infiltrate a gang, and then ultimately becomes entangled in this world. And that'd be something that to like just kind of go into that same way of the older like Jackie Chan films or something like that. But I think that'd be cool.
I would need to have, if Sleeping Dogs ever got adapted, I would need the scene where the mother of whatever the guy's name is, when she finds out her son was killed, and you get the guy that did the shooting or whatever, did the assassination, and she's like, leave him with me, and she like has that freaking butcher knife and she like slams it down. I was like, okay, you're a cop and you just handed over a person to get brutally fucking murdered. But that was like the greatest, one of the most memorable scenes for me from that game, just because like it was just like, damn, you get it.
Exactly.
You get it. That's like, you're about to brutally murder somebody, but I'm on your side because that that person deserves it.
Exactly.
I would need that scene. I would need that specific scene if Sleeping Dogs got made.
I would need the scene where he performs karaoke in a nightclub like you would do in Sleeping Dogs.
God damn. Do you need the little thing that comes,
the little pad, the little everything? Yeah.
It just pops up on the screen and you're just like, what the hell is this?
Everybody grab your controller. No.
Grab your controller. You must match it in these lines or it's going to sound horrible.
That would be so hilarious.
And then the cheesy clapping that was happening in the background is like, oh my gosh, why do you do that? I haven't played that game in forever, but I remember all that crap. That's so weird.
Yeah. It's still fresh on my mind since I played it like a couple months ago. So
yeah.
So funny.
Man, I'm trying to think of something else that would be awesome. Why not? Why not? We're getting Mario. Why not make a Kirby movie?
Yeah. I could see that happening. A Kirby movie that seems like, a lot of fun. Why not?
Eventually we'll have the Mario cinematic universe, and DK is getting his own movie.
Yeah, Donkey
Kirby
Kong
gets his own movie. Freaking Yoshi.
Zelda.
Why not?
Oh yeah. We're gonna have a Nintendo cinematic universe.
Yeah, the Nintendo cinematic universe where they all come together to save the galaxy, and that's where we get our super team.
Hey,
they tapped us to create their super team.
We're thinking 12 steps ahead. No.
Mario, Nintendo, if you need someone to come up with your super team for your cinematic universe.
Oh, what if we got a this could be, I think it'd work great as a TV show. What about a Star Fox TV show?
Star Fox would be cool.
He goes on a bunch of different adventures.
It'd have to be a cartoon. I would not want to sit I wouldn't want to see like a live action version of Star Fox. That would be awkward.
I think it could work like as an animation or like an anime or like just cartoon. And it could kind of, in a way, what if you did it like kind of like how they did Star Trek? He goes on these adventures, alien planets, and just take it like serious, because I think it'd be cool to have that.
And then like have the little story about his Andros and his father and all that in the background. While he's exploring the galaxy, like Andros is corrupting these planets and shit. I don't remember what Andros does in the Star Fox.
I don't remember either.
I just remember Andros killed his father, right? Or was that Wolf?
I think it was Andros. I can't. It's been so long.
Yeah. Or did Wolf just betray Cloud's father?
I think Wolf betrayed Fox. Yeah.
Fox McCloud. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Fox McCloud. Yep.
Yeah, right. Wolf just betrayed his the father to Andros.
I think so, if I remember correctly.
There's so much stuff about Star. I haven't played Star Fox in forever, so I just like vaguely remember things. This is gonna be random. Who would play Slippy?
Slippy would be
the greatest frog in the galaxy.
Greatest frog in the galaxy. Slippy would be.
That's his name, right? The frog.
Yeah, Slippy the frog. Slippy the frog. I'm trying to think. Who would play Slippy? I don't know. That's a good one.
Slippy Toad. He's not a frog. He's a toad.
Oh, sorry.
His name is literally Slippy. I mean, they're all
Slippy the Toad.
They're all named after animals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So who's the rabbit?
I mean, Falco's the falcon.
What?
Falco's the falcon.
Yeah, like Falco the falcon, and then
I forgot the other guy. Name? What he is?
The rabbit.
Is he a rabbit?
I mean, he's a hare or something like that, right?
He's like, he's some sort of animal like that.
Peppy
Slippy?
the hare.
Peppy, that's what it is. Peppy. I forgot
Slippy,
about that.
Peppy, and Falco, and then Fox.
Yeah, Peppy's the one that says, do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll. Yeah.
Fox, do a barrel roll.
Would you need that line to appear in the movie?
Yes, it has to.
Peppy would be.
It has to be.
Fox,
and it has to be like a.
You have to.
It has to be a build up.
Right?
Yeah, it has to be a build up to where Fox has to get out of the way of something, and then Peppy has to be like, Fox, do a barrel roll, and then everybody in the crowd cheers and they raise their hands.
Victory! That's how he defeats Andros in the last climactic battle.
Exactly.
He barrels out of the way and then files missiles and.
Exactly.
What if it's this? What if Peppy Hare, he dies at the beginning of the movie?
Oh no!
And then at the end of the movie, when Fox is fighting Andros, he has like a Star Wars moment where Fox do a barrel roll. It's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi is like, use the Force, Luke. It's Fox. Do a barrel roll. And then you just see like Ghost Peppy watching. And Fox goes, oh my God, Peppy's with me this entire time.
Oh my God, hilarious. That'd be hilarious.
And then Falco and Slippy were like, oh my God, yeah. And then Fox at the end of the movie, Fox goes to Slippy and Falco and goes, guys, Peppy was with us the entire time.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny. See, the script writes itself. It's perfect.
All right, there. See, tap us. We got it. We got the script for for Star Fox. We'll do the cinematic universe. For Nintendo. We got this, man. Fantastic.
Exactly. Perfect. It'll be perfect.
All right. Wind us out of here. Let's get the hell out of here.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Respawn Please podcast. We go live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us here on YouTube if you're watching now, or if you're listening, go to YouTube and just type in at Respawn Please podcast and we'll pop up. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified when we drop new videos. Thanks to everybody that's been checking out the videos that we have been dropping or the shorts. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Respawn Please Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Respawn_Please. Make sure you visit respawnplease.com for reviews, videos, anything about the podcast, and also listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whichever platform you choose. And lastly, We also stream on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Respawn plays, we choose to play a game. Last time we played Dead by Daylight with a couple friends. We'll play Overwatch, Dark Tide, just anything that we feel like playing.
Yep. We're going to play, I haven't told Elle this. We about to play that fashion design, whatever the hell that game was called.
Fashion
from the
design.
Nintendo Direct. Fashion Dreamland. So I don't know what it was called.
Dreamland, whatever it's called.
Do what?
I said Fashion Dreamland or whatever it's called.
Yeah, we're gonna play. That's what we're gonna play. We're gonna be playing that for hours on end. It's gonna be great.
So hilarious.
And we'll do it like a 24-hour stream with just that.
Oh wow!
We heard it here, folks. Yeah, you heard it here, folks. When that game launches, we're doing a 24-hour stream, and it's gonna be Elle playing it. It's gonna be Elle playing it too.
Oh no! I'm not ready for that.
Strap in, Elle. You gotta buckle up and get ready to go. All right. Have a good night, y'all. We will see you we'll see you on Wednesday.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
So see you all later. Have a wonderful night. Goodbye.
Good night.